to talk about this real quick. We know that heat shelters are not going to open up today. Can you explain to us why that won't happen despite temperatures, expected to reach the mid to upper 90s?
Yeah, the forecast is a broad range, and we're kind of right at the edge of where we would start to consider opening thresholds, so we're ready. If the forecast trends in the hotter end of the range, we're going to be ready to open up shelters. But as of now, we're not seeing that yet.
Gotcha. You just kind of answered my next question. When will those shelters open? If you were able to forecast, we're getting closer to that hotter period, right? And so when we talk about that, how can those who fall in within like vulnerable populations or seniors, unhoused people, how can they get short-term cooling relief in the meantime?
There's a lot of good ways to stay cool during this heat wave, even if you don't have cooling at home. Splash pads right here is a great example. Bring your kids out, play in the water. Libraries are open, malls are open, Lloyd Center is open. Catching a movie is a good idea for today. And, even if that means spending a little bit of money, that can be worth it, because you can think of it as an investment in your health. It's protecting you during the heat.
Absolutely. We know that seniors oftentimes, I'm going to ask you this question because this relates to my story. It's part of this, but we know that seniors are oftentimes the demographic impacted most by extreme heat, right? I was looking at some data from the Multnomah County report from 2022 that detailed the excessive heat events of 2021. Obviously, that year we dealt with the heat dome, dealt with multiple 100-degree days. It was seniors were the overwhelming demographic that was impacted by the most heat-related deaths. So when we talk about our elderly populations, how are they being looked after during these times?
Yeah, anyone can call 311 to find out about eligibility for air conditioning installed in your home. If you need help finding a place to be cool today, call 211. And anyone can access our Help for When It's Hot website, and that has a whole list of safe places to stay cool.
Gotcha. Is there anything the community can do to look after their fellow community members who may need assistance, getting out of the heat?
If you have a loved one or a friend or neighbor in your life who's an older adult living alone, it's a great time to check in and make a plan. And sometimes check in multiple times. Make a plan for how to stay cool. Say, come on over and hang out with me in the basement. Let's go see a movie. Let's go get something cool to drink. Those are all good ideas.
And I know you kind of explained why you guys haven't opened these heat shelters. That forecast, what you guys are looking at, hasn't reached that, maybe extreme threshold. But kind of go into that, what that means for you guys as it pertains to reaching that extreme threshold and then, moving to open those shelters.
Yeah, well, one thing we're watching pretty closely with this event is the nighttime minimum temperatures. How cool is it going to get at night? And because that tends to be one of the big drivers of health impacts. When our bodies can't cool down, we can't rest, we can't rejuvenate. That's when the heat stress starts to accumulate day over day. So we're going to be watching that really closely. The other thing we'll watch is how hot is it getting during the day and for how long. There's still some uncertainty in that. And if we see things trend toward the upper end of the forecast where we're hitting triple digits, we might start to think more seriously about shelters.
Any other advice, anything else you want to provide on the front of, how you guys are continuing to monitor things, on the front of the cooling shelters? Any other, advice, any information for people to kind of provide them with any kind of relief, get out of the heat, anything like that?
Well, during a heat event, it's always a good idea to schedule your outdoor exercise in the morning, so you're in the cooler part of the day. Same with yard work or any kind of outdoor tasks. Stay hydrated, and again, check on the loved ones who are living alone.
Gotcha.
The other thing that we often remind folks of is a lot of people are seeking relief in the rivers. Those can still be running cold and fast, so be sure to wear a life jacket, supervise children closely, and avoid any alcohol or other intoxicants.